Okay, guys, I can't find my my intro music. So hi. Oh, dang it. I mean, I know where it is, but the screen's all screwed up, and here it is. Old lady on a computer. Welcome. Damn it. Old lady on a computer. I assume I'm on though, right? Oh, dang it. Um, and and the way I've got this is I'm not sure I'm going to have access to almost anything. Good God in heaven. Even if you were to tell me I'm on, I won't know I'm on. Let me see. Oh, dang it. Here. Oh, there. Kinda. Okay. I'm here, I think. Yeah. Don't know if I have, yeah, I think I even can take calls. Okay. I just can't, the screen's screwed up. So anyway, hello. And I don't have access to some of the information I would normally have by virtue of my own incompetence. Um, Other than that, everything's fine. Um, okay. Since I don't know that I'm going to be able to see chat or emails, I do need somebody to email me and tell me you can see me or hear me or whatever the hell this is. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my mind. Well, I suspect I already have since I. Damn it. Okay. If you've already told me, there's a lag, from when I can get an email. This is not a good start. Maybe I should just scrap it and start over, huh? I'm not sure quite what to do. Uh, YouTube's telling me I'm live. Well, I sure don't feel like it. Okay, it says I'm live. I've gotten nothing from any of you, so I'm going to assume. God damn it! The New York Times had some. I am on. Thanks, Art. You're the first one who came through. The New York Times has some piece on the front page today about how uh, technology, which was supposed to bring us together, has managed to pull us apart, which is true. Uh, I'm laughing because Margaret said you're in. I mean, she said urine, Urine. I assume that means I'm on. Was that a spell check thing gone wrong or what? Anyway, so I'm at a slight disadvantage here. My screens are all out of whack due to my incompetence. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to stop the show when I want to. I'm afraid to touch anything here. Uh, but be that as it may, um, yeah, I think I'm sort of here. Okay, I'll just I'll just go on. I'm trying to figure out if I can take calls though. That's the thing. I know I'm set up, but I don't see my thing where I click you in. So I really fucked this up, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know how you feel about me starting over, or I'm just going to keep going. This is ridiculous. Um, Funniest tweet I saw. Well, I don't know if it was the funniest, but I this morning, funny enough that I wrote it down was Mr. Rogers did not adequately prepare me for living in my neighborhood. uh, there's something wonderful about that, at least to me. I was talking the other day about how aging is about loss, how you just lose everything little by little. you know. And the one thing I have not lost, and I know it'll be curtains for me if I ever do, is my sense of humor. I mean, it's my truly my most valued possession. my my sense of humor. It gets me through even the toughest times, and I suspect we're in those at the moment. It seems so much more than a week since we got hit with a dose of reality we didn't want. Um, and I'm just so struck by so many things. If you'll indulge me, um, but the fact that it's just a week, I know that many people are processing this in many, many different ways. And thank you, Kevin. The old producer said, "I'm listening in my car. You're on. Shut the hell up. Keep going." He didn't say shut the hell up, but keep going. Yeah. So uh, I I'm a little surprised at my reaction to it. I can get more to that later. But I can see around me uh, that many people are going through those, various stages of grief. A lot are still, angry, a lot of anger. There's a lot of sort of disbelief, inability to take it in. There's blaming. There's pulling away. I'm I'm done. I'm out. There's quitting. I'm out of here. There's all this stuff. I see so many people doing different kinds of things, and I'm quite willing to you know acknowledge all as perfectly understandable reactions. Um, but speaking for myself, I'm blown away by my reaction, which is I had so feared. I remember I kept saying before the election, I have to believe that she will win because I cannot imagine. I can't imagine the other result. Well, here's the reality. Good thing for my imagination. I don't have to imagine it. It arrived, the other result. And it turns out that I am accepting it with a lot more calm than I ever thought I would. I don't know. I don't trust that calm, but I have been sort of coldly calm for the last week. I initially thought that might be that I'm, in a literal state of shock, but I don't think that's the case anymore because I've been quite willing to wade into all kinds of writing, reading, listening about what others think about this. Where if normally I would think I would not be able to tolerate that. I'm feeling like coldly analytical, and I'm also feeling, which I think is important to feel, humble. Uh, we got this wrong. I mean, in every way, it seems almost. I don't want to overstate, but we got this wrong. And if we're not humbled, and a lot of folks at this point I have yet to get there, but I'm hoping if within a month or so people aren't feeling humbled, then we're in real trouble because one of the things, and I think I said this the first day out, is one of the things about losing or getting really beaten is that you got to learn from it. It's a great, wondrous silver lining of losing, that it provides opportunity to learn. Um, and so that's where I am. And all of us, and what I can see is that different people will take different, will learn different things from the defeat. But the size and breadth of the defeat are astonishing. But that's wherein the humility has to be. We, our side, who felt so certain that the other side, and I think I did say this before, was living in a state of unreality, turns out to be the side that was, in fact, living in unreality. That'd be us, because we didn't know where we were. We didn't read the landscape. Uh, Anyone knows that if you're playing a pretty serious game where you don't want to lose, the first thing you have to do is understand where you are, what your environment is, who's around you, where the pitfalls are. You need to adequately, I mean, you need to be able to understand your own weaknesses and your strengths. And I'm not sure we did. I'm quite sure we didn't. And if we don't learn what those mistakes were, well, we're going to be wandering in the wilderness for a long time. Here's another thought I had. Do you know how many times in my life that I have written the obituary of one of the two political parties? Yeah. Well, I'd already written the Republicans. They didn't exist anymore. They were a neo-fascist party. But the reality is whatever that party is, and they're still calling themselves Republicans, they own our government now. So much for my obituary. And we Democrats, we've been rejected by almost every demographic you look at. If not rejected, we've lost standing. I guess that's the thing. Even among the very groups that we always felt defined us, we've lost folks. So any party suffering this kind of defeat is, well, if not humbled, I can't imagine what. I want to warn you, I don't think I can. I don't. If somebody's calling, and I think they are, I don't know how to take the call. I've mucked this up so much. Um, I'm afraid to. I'm afraid to. If I push a button here, I'm afraid that I'll knock everything off. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to be able to take calls today because I don't have my screens up like I'm supposed to. It's all on me, and I'm sorry. Um, Okay, stop. I should just keep going, right? Every time I do that, I start trying to then figure it out, and then I stop the show, which is not a good idea. I just need to keep going. And forgive me though for not being able to have you. The only way you're going to be able to get into the conversation at all today on this mucked up show is to email Lynn Cullen show at gmail.com. That's the only thing that I'm seeing any access to. Okay. So I mean, no, wherever you look, I just keep seeing more and more stats that are like, what? Um, we we Trump. I hate. I'm gonna have to be able to say his name. Jesus. Uh, Trump uh, got more votes in every racial group than he ever had before, and in some cases, than the Republicans ever had before. And except one, I want to be yeah, clear, except one. And let me see. Some of these numbers they're mind they're just mind blowing, and we've got to take it in. Okay. Oh God, and sure, my phone is almost out. God damn. Um, of the counties, of all the counties in the U.S., more. Hang on a minute. I gotta get. Hang on. I gotta walk into my kitchen and I'm away from the mic. Hang on. Damn it. Um, I'm coming. It's just that I've got to plug my phone in or it'll be totally off. Okay. Um, so of 90 counties in the country, 90% shifted in favor of him. I mean, where he got more votes. Okay, I'm going away again. Everything is all mucked up. This is a perfect metaphor. A perfect metaphor for where we are. Hang on while I drag my entire dining room table closer to the kitchen. Oops. All right, all right. Okay, now I think I can do this. Um. Oh shit! That's not the. Ah! You can't make this up. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to turn that off. You can't be more fucked up than I am right now. You would think I hadn't slept well. In fact, I had. Every demographic group. Um, the Latinos are getting all the attention, but blacks, Asians, everybody, more of the everybody went toward him. Urban, the blue dots, the cities, big urban areas. He picked up votes. So he was peeling away votes that the Democrats just take for granted, that those are the ones that we needed to add on to. And in fact, not only didn't we add on, we lost. All told, the only racial group among whom Trump lost any support at all turned out to be, wait for it, white people. What a riot. He went down about 1% in white people. Extraordinary. Again, if humility is not on the table, then you're in some heavy denial. Now, of course, we'll end up disagreeing on what it was we did wrong, and therein is the danger of not learning the lesson, of misunderstanding the lesson we've been given. I think another thing is, and I've seen still a lot of people stuck in this situation, and I understand it because it is only a week, where there are just a lot of folks writing off the country as hopelessly filled with racists and haters and misogynists. And I would argue, while there's plenty of those folks around and always have been, and they were always there even in the times when we made great progress, to write off this whole country in that way is, again, to avoid taking responsibility for being rejected, owning this humbling rejection. And it seems like if you can't get to that, that's the starting point before any other work can get done. And I'm a little nervous because it seems, although again I'm saying it's still early, that an awful lot of people aren't even close to getting there. And we're going to have to do all this while we're still pushing back against what this government of ours, because it's totally in their hands. Maybe that's a good thing in this regard. They are now the thing they ran against, right? They own it. If things don't get done, I don't know where they're going to point fingers. They own it. They're damn good at pointing fingers, though, so I'm sure they'll find a way. But I would think the voters, who clearly are in some kind of flailing around, desperately looking for someone who is listening to them. My gut tells me neither party is, which is why we keep seeing voters. You wonder, wait a minute, how can voters vote for Trump, then vote for Barack Obama, then vote for Trump, then vote for Biden, and then go back to Trump? And we know now that there's plenty of them who've done some kind of incredible trick like that. And to me, it bespeaks a flailing around, a desperation being felt on the part of the voter, of wanting to believe that okay, this guy is now listening to me, or that one is now listening to me. They're always voting against whatever the government seems to be at the time. So that's, if anything, that's the good news of being on the outs. I'm also feeling that some of my sense, and I don't know if this is true, that if Trump were to win, it's over. I've said that many times. The country's gone. I don't believe that's true. I can't believe that's true. Uh, I cannot believe that's true. So if that's where you are, I feel for you, because there's no hope in that. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I just wanted, it's a holiday. I forgot. I wanted to wish you all a happy Losers and Suckers Day. I know, it's amazing. Veterans voted for the guy who called them losers and suckers. If the dead in Arlington could have voted, they probably would have voted for him too. Losers and suckers. If we can't figure out what the massive thing we did in so misunderstanding what the people wanted from us, well, we're doomed. All us bright, elite, college educated folks. Yeah. And therein might lie some of the problem. Really. I've often said some of the dumbest people I've ever met are educated people, people with degrees, people with a very self satisfied sense of all the stuff they know. Hmm. Yeah, we're the college educated. Well, the dumbbells just cleaned our clock. Eh? Maybe they ain't so dumb. Maybe we have to get off our out of our ivory towers, off our pedestals, off our, self-congratulatory sense of how we got things figured out. Because clearly we don't. Okay, I'll share a few things that other people said. Those are some of my just sort of, like you, and I'm assuming because I like to think that my audience is filled with people who think. One of the reasons I love you, because I do love people who think. But I also know that people who think don't necessarily have to have college degrees. And in fact, a lot of them who do aren't capable of thinking for themselves to save their souls. Okay. Some of other people's things that I saw that I found compelling, I guess. And what I've decided to do is I'm now reading people I would never read, right? If by focusing on the same people, well, I get my information from, and I turned out to be clueless in part. So I've decided, okay, I don't care how hard it is, you better start reading folks that you otherwise gave short shrift to. And so I have. And it ain't necessarily fun, but again, to think that because somebody has a different point of view, a different political point of view, they're somehow bad people. We gotta get rid of that because it ain't true. Because somebody doesn't see the world like I see it, doesn't make them bad or less than. And this is all not to say that there aren't a lot of really bad actors out there, and some of them are in positions of great power. And we live in a time in which the bad actors are living in a candy store of wondrous abilities to spread their crap. But let us not mistake anybody who voted for, let's say, Trump, as let's not say that's a bad person. If that's where you still are, then again, you're not part of the solution going forward. You're not. if we don't open up. Anyway, here's some of Fareed Zakaria. I thought he said some good stuff. Let me find it here, now that I can't even use my damn phone. Rust Belt writes, yeah, it looks pretty dark, but don't forget what an incompetent boob Trump is. He'll be in over his head as he was last time and won't get a lot of laws passed. How could he not get a lot of laws passed? The entire Congress is in his pocket. He'll pass anything he wants. And the Supreme Court will sign off on all of it. Oh, that's a wonderful idea. Anyway, Rust Belt says his followers are just as incompetent. That's why they failed at their coup on January 6th. Well, if they're so incompetent, why'd they just clean our clock? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Fareed Zakaria. I sometimes don't like what he says, and I sometimes do. He's one of those people who reading him sometimes bugs me. You know what? I am going to lose my mind. They're asking for they're saying I don't have access. I sure as hell do. Hang on. God damn it. I am, you know what? You can't get a more fucked up mess of a show than this is today. And it's all on me. All right, until my damn phone dies. Here's some of Fareed's stuff. First of all, he said, look, if you look around the world, almost every incumbent all over the world got knocked off since the pandemic and the resulting, mess that was created in every way. All over the world, in Germany, in France, in Italy, in Japan, the incumbent party was sent packing. In South Korea, over on all of them. So there was that we didn't fully appreciate how much voters around the world were upset, to say the least. Okay, so he says that there are he says that a big error that the Biden administration and we, the Democrats, made was our refusal to understand how immigration and the chaos at the border was a legitimate concern. And I always felt a little icky about it because, things weren't right there. Things weren't right. You're kidding, Kevin. Kevin has come by. You think you're going to fix this while I'm here? Okay, fine. I'll shut up. But I got to be right here. Okay. So the fact that we did not comprehend how important. Okay, I'm going to keep talking. How important that immigration was. All we did, according to Zakaria, is we branded anyone protesting as heartless, as racist, and in so doing, we miss this huge shift in public opinion. In 2020, Americans who wanted to decrease immigration was 28% of the population. This year, it's 55%, and it's growing. and we ignored it. Also, the use of how every time we went after Trump for his criminality, it not only didn't work, it seemed to help him, right? We can never get our heads around that. But Zakaria says this: the host of these cases against him, piling on in rapid succession, did give the impression that you got it, thank you, God bless you, that no, okay, did give the impression that that the government was out to get Trump, and it was easy to sell that. The indictments confirmed to a lot of Americans what they always believed, that these overeducated urban liberals would happily bend the rules when it suited their purposes. It turned Trump into a victim. His campaign contributions increased. His poll numbers solidified. And then he says, and the biggie, and this is the one that a lot of people are focusing on, the dominance of identity politics on the left. And man, I am in agreement, as you know, with that. He says there's an irony in claiming to be pro-Latino by insisting that people use the term Latinx, only to discover that Latinos themselves don't want to and think the word is weird. But nevertheless, we persisted. Zakaria goes on, this kind of obsession made Democrats view people too much through their ethnic or racial or gender identity, and it made them miss that working class Latinos were moving toward Trump for all kinds of reasons, because they were socially conservative, or they liked his macho rhetoric, or even agreed with him on immigration. And one of Trump's most effective ads by far ended with the tagline, Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you. The first time I heard it, I almost dropped out of my chair. My son laughed. I said, I got a feeling that's not funny. I got a feeling that one is that'll go down in history as effective as hell. And then Zakaria says this. You can not want to hear this or whatever, but I think he's worth listening to. The problem is much deeper than nouns and pronouns. The entire focus on identity has morphed into something deeply illiberal, judging people by the color of their skin rather than the content of their character. And similarly, university speech codes and cancel culture have become ways that the left has censored or restricted that most cherished of liberal ideas, freedom of speech. One simple way to think about the lessons of this election is that liberals cannot achieve liberal goals, however virtuous they may be, by illiberal means. And I think that's huge. And that, since we're going to be doing finger pointing, that gets my finger clearly pointing at the university crowd. Because they're the ones, that's where all this crap came from, out of the best of intentions. But it managed to elect this loathsome man by numbers we could not have believed. In decades, we haven't seen Republicans rack up this kind of a triumph. And if we aren't humbled, and if we don't own this, God help us. We're going to keep on losing. Yeah, so they won. Guess who number one is they're going after? It looks like poor Jack Smith, the special counsel. They're going to go after him. They're going to try to put him in jail. I don't think they got a leg to stand on. He was just doing what prosecutors do. But with the Supreme Court, I don't know. You see who the head of the border is going to be? The guy who was the head of ICE when they rounded up families, separated kids from their parents, some of whom have still not ever, nor will they ever be reunited. Remember that chaos? That guy is now going to be in charge of the deportation of millions of Americans. We'll see if they can pull that off. I'm hoping that, like Trump's border wall, that big, beautiful wall he was going to build that the Mexicans were going to pay for. And we saw how that went. That the deportations will go in the same way, I hope. That Harvard-educated lawyer, Republican from New York's representing Trump, full Trumper, Elaine Stefanik, has been rewarded or will be rewarded as his United Nations ambassador. It's where he tends to put women. That's where he put Nikki Haley, if you'll remember. He ain't putting her anywhere. Okay. Can you bear any more? A few other things that I saw that I thought were worthy of, if you're able at this point, just 1 week out, to take in this kind of soul searching. I mean, the fact that in Nebraska, the candidate for Senate running as an independent ran 14 points ahead of Kamala Harris, an independent. Senator Bernie Sanders, he blames what he called a party-wide emphasis on identity politics. Here's where Bernie and I are on the same, we absolutely agree. Bernie says, you went off on all this crapola and the pronouns at the expense of focusing on the economic concerns of working class voters. He says, this is his quote, it's a Democratic Party which increasingly has become a party of identity politics rather than understanding that the vast majority of people in this country are working class. This trend of workers leaving the Democratic Party started with whites, and it has accelerated now to Latinos and blacks. They are leaving. He says whether or not the Democratic Party has the capability, given how it is funded by and dependent on well-paid consultants, Whether it has the capability of transforming itself remains to be seen. That is a pretty bleak assessment by Bernie Sanders. Nicholas Kristof. A few of the things he says that he is going to try to do. He's going to try to understand, he says, why so many Americans obviously disagree with him. He's feeling a little humbled. That's step one. He says too many Democrats reflexively assume that any person backing Trump must be a bigot or an idiot. But let's beware of invidious stereotypes, for finger-wagging condescension alienates centrist voters. It's difficult to win support from people you're calling idiots. Mm-hmm. And then he says about humility, the challenge is to unflinchingly proclaim our values, even as we appreciate that we are fallible and may be proved wrong. Accepting that contradiction curbs the tendency toward arrogance and self-righteousness, which in any case are utterly unhelpful in promoting those values. Okay. I don't know if you want to hear any of this, but here comes a little more. And here's David Brooks, a moderate, a guy who used to be a Republican. There's so many of them. And we he says, our education policy pushed people toward the course we followed. This is where the left triumphed. 4-year colleges so that everyone would be qualified for the jobs of the future. And we allowed vocational training to wither. This is the elitist of us. We embraced a free trade policy, NAFTA, that moved industrial jobs to low-cost countries overseas so that we could focus our educated elitist brains, I'm paraphrasing here, on knowledge economy enterprises run by people with advanced degrees. So the financial sector mushroomed, the consulting structure mushroomed, and manufacturing shriveled. And whole communities, literal and figurative, got left behind. And we thought they'd vote for us? He goes on to say the situation was particularly hard on boys. By high school, 2/3 of the students in the top 10% of the class are girls, while about 2/3 of the students in the bottom are boys. Schools are not set up for male success. That has lifelong personal and now national consequences. Society worked as a vast segregation system. This is the America we lived in under Obama, under Clinton, and when Democrats are in charge. Served as a vast segregation system, elevating the academically gifted above everybody else. Before long, the diploma divide became the most important chasm in American life. High school graduates die 9 years sooner than college-educated people. They marry less, they divorce more likely to have a child out of wedlock, less likely to join community groups. They don't speak in the right social justice jargon or hold the sort of beliefs that are markers of public virtue. The way he saw it, the Democratic Party sees itself as having one job: to combat inequality. And here, right in front of us, was a great chasm of inequality right before our noses. The inequality between the college educated and that great mass of the working class. And Democrats didn't even see it. Many on the left, he said, focused on racial inequality, gender inequality, and LGBTQ inequality, which is all fine. But, sorry, it's class inequality that cuts across it all. And he said, and as we veered toward identitarian performance art, Donald Trump jumped into the class war with both feet. His Queens-born resentment of the Manhattan elites dovetailed magically with the class animosity being held by rural people, small-town people across the country. His message was simple: these people have betrayed you, and they're morons. In 2024, Donald Trump built the very thing the Democratic Party tried to build: a multiracial, working class majority. His support surged among Black and Hispanic workers. He recorded astonishing gains in places like New Jersey, the Bronx, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, LA. According to the NBC exit polls, he wrote this days ago, he's the first Republican to win a majority of the votes in 20 years. If you're not humbled, if you're not seeing that the only opportunity we have here is to learn something. Brooks says there will be some on the left who will say Trump won because of the inherent racism, sexism, and authoritarianism of the American people. To that, he says, apparently those people love losing and want to do it again and again and again. He ends with this: Trump is a sower of chaos. Over the next few years, a plague of disorder will descend upon us and the world, shaking everything loose. If you hate polarization, just wait until we experience global disorder. But in chaos, there is opportunity for a new society and a new response to the Trumpian political, economic, and psychological assault. These are the times that try people's souls, and we'll see what we are made of. I thought David Brooks nailed it, frankly. Hey, for those of you who want another point of view, I saw that there's something happening at Chatham tomorrow night, and it's a post-mortem. Chris Potter is going to be one of the panelists, and I, always think Chris Potter is worth listening to, and we'll have a good point of view. But he's joined with a columnist from the Los Angeles Times, Jackie Calms, and the Pennsylvania campaign manager for the Harris campaign, and a Republican National Committee woman. So that's who would be on the panel. There is a charge of $15, and this is put on by the Pennsylvania Center for Women and Politics, and it's tomorrow night. The panel's from 6 to 7:30. If you want some wine, you can come at 5:30. 6 to 7:30, and you register at PCWP, Pennsylvania Center for Women and Politics, pcwp.org. I don't know. I assume some of you might find that of interest. Okay. Somebody last week called and said they wondered how much Summer Lee had lost. I mean, she won. How many votes she might have lost because of her. Well, as I said, she lost my vote. It turns out she lost a lot of votes in the East End, where all the Jews are. She doesn't have the Jews' vote. The Jews did not feel represented by her, and with this, they will continue to not be represented by her. That's for sure. Her totals went down from 2 years before, when she got so many Jewish votes, by 20%. Also went down in Upper St. Clair, in Plum, and other suburban areas, but not enough to elect a Republican. And, thank God we need all the Democrats we can get, because it's not looking good. It is definitely not looking like the Democrats will regain the House. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's, I think, pretty close to the realm of improbability. Whatever, it ain't good news. There isn't any. Okay, and that's the end of that. I am so sorry for this mucked up show. But thank God Kevin, the White Knight, came in through my front door. He's here now, and I'm going to say goodbye. And I promise things will be better tomorrow. Okay? Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.